What in the god's name is that? They are the Twisted Ones, fused by the power of chaos. Once, they were soldiers of Prague. By the gods. Then let us end their suffering.
In 2301 IC, as Asavar Kul descended upon Kislev, Malekith of Nagaroth sensed the rising power of chaos across the world. To him, it was the perfect moment to strike at Ulthuan. Yet as the northern lands grew ever more saturated with chaos, the seas of the Straits of Nagaroth were plagued by relentless Norscan raids. With such threats at his doorstep, launching a grand invasion was impossible. Thus, Marathi journeyed north, offering vast treasures and slaves to the Norscan tribes, winning their allegiance with promises of rich reward. Once the threat at the borders was quelled, Malekith wasted no time, leading the Norse tribes and the followers of Nurgle in a full assault upon Ulthuan. Meanwhile, in the far east, the undivided Demon Prince Ephraim joined forces with the Hung tribes and struck at Cathay's great bastion. In response, the realms of Samhan and Nippon dispatched armies to aid Cathay in its defense. And so, from every corner of the world's far north, the forces of chaos descended all at once.
My lord, a high elf named Techlas requests an audience.
Techlas? Has he come with his army?
No, my lord. Only 3 of them.
I see. But far more troops have gathered than I expected. Before we march on Prague, we'll need to resupply at Kislev first. Make the arrangements.
Understood, my lord.
Leaf.
Welcome. Your journey must have been long. The Tsar awaits.
Are you always so quiet?
No reinforcements have arrived.
Ulthuan has been left in ruins by the Dark Elves' onslaught, and the Eastern Realms are amassing at the Great Bastion. Even the dwarves are locked in war with the Greenskins. That is the Kislev Palace. The Tsar himself has come to greet you.
Rise. You have journeyed far. Tell me, what are your thoughts on this?
To what do you refer, Your Majesty?
Fighting alongside witches. Is it truly necessary to defy our ancient laws?
Not all magic bears the taint of chaos, Your Majesty. To shun them for their gift alone is unwise. In this darkest hour, I believe that if even a single heart beats for the motherland, we must stand as one.
The dwarf reinforcements have arrived, Your Majesty.
Very well. You have done enough this day. Withdraw and rest.
It has been too long, Your Majesty.
A welcome sight. But I heard Karaza Karak is under siege. How were you able to spare the forces to come here?
Ha! Karaza Karak would never fall to such savages. But because of them, I could not bring as many as I wished.
Your presence is enough. Please, rest your men.
You have done your part. Go and find your rest.
Rest well, Elder. Kovnissa?
Long time no see, Leaf.
I'm glad you're safe.
That's what I should be saying. Erengrad never even faced them in battle.
Then, what happened to Erengrad?
Once Prague was besieged by chaos, orders came to evacuate Erengrad completely. The main force and some civilians retreated here. The rest fled towards the Empire, escorted by the Winged Lancers. I don't know what's become of Erengrad now.
Better than getting picked off one by one.
This war, think we can win? If we make it through this, what's your plan after the war?
Rebuild Prague, I suppose. And you?
I was thinking I might finally get married.
Married? Yeah, you'll find a good guy, I'm sure.
You've already forgotten, haven't you?
Forgotten what?
Forget it. Never mind.
Whoa!
In the year 2302, as Prague burned beneath the tide of chaos, the Empire lay in utter chaos. 3 emperors vied for the throne, while the high priests of Sigmar and Ulrich feuded over command of the Imperial armies. Many nobles refused to send their forces, terrified that their neighbors would invade their lands the moment they were left unguarded. Some, convinced that defeat was inevitable, began to openly worship the dark gods, hoping to gain the mercy of the Chaos hordes. In Nome, a Tzeentchian cult known as the Magi incited a massive uprising, summoning demons and foul monstrosities that plunged the city into terror. Amidst this, Magnus von Bildhofen, a young noble and priest of Sigmar, did not lose hope. He rallied the citizens, and under his leadership, the cult was crushed. Seizing the moment, Magnus declared a crusade across the entire empire. His stirring speeches ignited a great fervor among the common folk. As he marched north, speaking in city squares, multitudes flocked to his banner. It was not only those moved by his words. Elector counts, the church, and other factions, fearing the consequences of defying the rising tide, began to muster their armies. Even the mercenaries of Tylee joined the war, drawn by the promise of rewards in victory. By late 2302, when Magnus arrived at Middenheim, his army had grown into the largest force in Imperial history.
Sigmar guides us!
To gain the support of the cult of Ulrich, Magnus approached R. Ulrich Christoph. But Christoph denounced him as a charlatan and refused to recognize him. Undeterred, Magnus walked fearlessly into the sanctuary and cast himself into the sacred flame of Ulrich, a flame said to distinguish the pure from the corrupt. Miraculously, he stepped from the flames unscathed. Witnessing this, the cult of Ulrich gave Magnus their full support. As the year turned to 2303, Magnus resolved to march north to the aid of Kislev. Magnus divided his forces into infantry and cavalry. Unaware that Prague had already fallen, he sent the swift cavalry north first, while he himself led the main host. At the border, the Empire's cavalry joined with Kislev's winged lancers, and together they rode toward Prague. By the time Magnus's main force reached Talabheim, the High Elf Techlas had come to find him.
Well met. I am Magnus von Bildhofen, Supreme Commander of the Imperial Forces.
I am Techlas of Ulthuan.
It appears Ulthuan cannot spare an army to aid us.
As you know, the war with the Dark Elves has left Ulthuan in ruins. We have no strength to spare beyond our shores.
So be it. I understand.
General, I must speak plainly. With these forces alone, you cannot hope to prevail against the Everchosen.
Would you have me abandon Kislev?
No, General. But you must summon every wielder of magic within the Empire.
Sorcery? Magic is anathema here. To invite such tainted souls into my ranks, the army would rout from within, long before we ever face the enemy.
I have devised a way for men to wield the winds of magic safely, without succumbing to the taint of chaos. Trust in me, General, and call them forth.
Magnus declared a general amnesty for the wizards who had long hidden across the Empire, and summoned them to his banner. Emerging from the shadows, where they had cowered from witch hunters and the Inquisition, countless mages finally revealed themselves and answered Magnus's call. As the army marched north, Techlas rode among them. To those he deemed worthy, he taught the art of wielding the winds of magic without succumbing to the taint of chaos.
Submit, foolish mortals. The fate of this world is already sealed. If you beg the dark gods for mercy,
Oops. Sorry. Finger slipped.
Bring that woman to me.
alive.
too many of them! It never ends!
Hold the line, lad! If we break here, all is lost!
What is this?
Is that?
Ah! The Empire! Finally decided to show their faces!
This magic.
Could it be?
Techlas.
Sigmar guides us!
Kolek, Sun Eater. Take these legions and break the Empire's advance. I shall command the Keep and the Western Front myself.
How can they be here? What has become of Prague?
It appears Prague has already fallen to the tide of chaos, my lord.
It is a blessing of Sigmar that we diverted here for supplies.
The enemy is charging.
Ready yourselves for battle!
Prepare for combat!
What in the absolute hells is that supposed to be?
The Great Bastion! This is where it begins.
I know that, but why build it there? Even without walls, no sane soul would invade such god-forsaken terrain.
Who can say? Perhaps it is merely the vanity of dragons.
And tell me, how much longer do you intend to wear that grotesque guise? It's an eyesore. Much better. Come, let us proceed.
It seems my previous form truly unsettled you, didn't it?
All ranks, fire!
Everchosen! Our forces outside the walls are buckling under the Empire's assault! Pathetic. Arbal, you hold the line here. Do not overreach. See that those Kislevite rats do not sally forth. The rest of you, with me! We regroup outside the walls!
Everchosen is withdrawing! Now's our chance! Push them back to the walls! Kazuken! Kazakita!
Steady! Withdraw step by step. Remember this. You are the chosen of the gods. Prove your worth to them. I stand with you. Advance!
decimated our artillery batteries!
He is a monster, a force of nature. will be encircled! Deploy the reserves to the rear! Hold them at all costs! Men of the Empire won't last much longer. Are we, with me, to the Empire's aid?
This way! Everyone, move! Quickly!
Leaf! Watch out!
Kovnisa.
Kovnisa! Kovnisa! Kovnisa, wait!
Why do you keep following me?
You failed the trial because of me. I'm sorry.
No need for apologies. It was a team mission. I failed to properly judge my partner's capabilities.
But I
said stop following me.
You're being held back a year because of me. I can't just let it go.
Fine. Accept my conditions, and I'll accept your apology.
Conditions?
First, starting tomorrow, after classes, you train with me. Every single day. No excuses.
Every day?
Second, if 10 years from now I'm still too busy to be married, you take responsibility.
Huh?
What? Don't you like it?
No! I mean, yes! I accept!
Good. Now stop following me. Tomorrow, we graduate.
I know. I never imagined a year could pass so quickly.
You look the part. And the beard. It suits you far better.
Thank you.
It's our last night.
Why are you laughing?
Do you remember sneaking out of lectures? Do you think we'll meet again?
Prague and Erengrad are far apart, but I know that day will come.
Farewell, Leaf.
Fall back! If we retreat now, Kislev is lost! Everyone within these walls will be slaughtered! stand our ground, the Imperial army will be annihilated. We must withdraw and rally our allies. Bretonia, the Southern Realms, even the Tomb Kings if we must. Damn it!
It cannot be.
Curse it! What is that now? All units, move to that position! Move out! Form the defensive line!
Move now! Faster! Quickly now! No time to lose! Brace for the charge! Hold the line! Archers, ready! Move it! Faster!
The scale of it. It's beyond belief.
There is still a chance. If we can break through, just once.
I am but a ranger, not born to command. I leave it to you.
Very well. All right! Rolf, move to the left on my signal! Winged Lancers, move as you have envisioned, and remember the signals as agreed! Sons of Sigmar! Scions of Ursun! Tell me, what did you feel amidst the ruins of Prague? Was it fury? Despair? Or was it the cold grip of fear? I too have felt its touch. I know not if these demons understand the meaning of dread. If they do not, then today we shall be their teachers. If they do, then today we shall carve that sensation into their very souls. Ignite your fear. Though I may fall this day, our kin, our brothers, and history itself shall remember us. We have nothing left to dread. Raise your spears! For today, at this very moment, we are their chaos! We are their terror! Charge!
Take aim!
Commander of the Empire, hear me!
If your gods are truly as mighty as you claim, come, face me in single combat.
It is a provocation. Do not yield to it.
No. I have faith in our strength.
Take my shield, sir.
For a fleeting moment, the clash between a Savar Kul and Magnus seemed evenly matched. But the balance soon began to tip. The Everchosen's power was more than any mortal should endure.
You fight well. But this ends now.
In that instant, an unseen force surged through Magnus. He seemed transformed. No longer merely a man. With that power, he overwhelmed the Everchosen. Savar Kul felt defeat take hold.
Impossible. Have I failed as well?
No, you did not fail. Your gods did.
The Everchosen fell. Leaderless, the hosts of chaos scattered to the winds. The long and bitter war was over. It was a victory forged by all of us. Men and mages, dwarves and elves, and by a power beyond our understanding. I returned to Prague as its new captain of the guard, devoting myself to rebuilding our shattered home. Techlas journeyed to Altdorf with the human mages. There he taught them to master the winds of magic, founding what would one day become the great colleges of magic. Magnus returned to the Empire a hero. He ended the centuries of the three emperors and was crowned emperor with the blessing of every elector count. At last, the Empire stood united. The world bore deep scars from this war. My homeland, Kislev, the shield of the north, was ravaged. Many were lost. But we did not break. We held this land. We shall rise again. We will never forget those who gave their lives for this peace. Our friends, our comrades, and the lovers we lost.